Okay, we have J. Crew. He sounds like a movie star, but he is a beast at e-commerce. He runs the brand Booty Bands. This is a really cool company and they're in the fitness space. They've really shown a lot of growth and traction, getting to over $1 million a year in revenue. He really goes through the struggles of starting a company, how he overcame those struggles and how he turned his e-commerce company into a major success. You know, those really 6-7 figures of his business. So tune into this episode. There's a huge amount of information, not only for e-commerce brand owners, but any brand that's looking to work with influencers, and can't wait for you to tune in. But can you just list off all the different places that you use that information that you collect from customers? So it's like, you know, emails, ads, product line extensions. Where else can you use this information to better improve your business?
Like, where else can we connect with the customer?
Or like from the information you collect from those customer calls, like what other areas of your business do you use that information in to make it better? So for example, I'm sure you use that information to improve your emails, improve your ad copy, you know, improve your product line, add new products, that sort of stuff. Where else do you use that information in your business to, I suppose, deliver a better product and service?
Yeah. I mean, one of the big ones probably people don't do enough is connecting with the right affiliates and influencers to promote your business that have a matching congruent audience as yours. So, you know, you can go and look for influencers in Instagram or YouTube and they have the right demographics as far as the female ages this to this and are in the United States, but who is their really audience? What's the psychographic? What do they do on their free time? What are their fears? What are their objections? What are their pain points, right? And so when we have that information, we go find influencers that and affiliates that know how to either connect with that audience or already have that audience built in as an influencer, and it makes the brand a lot more. It just makes it more cohesive. So we're not just mixing in just an audience to come buy a product and then leave. We wanted them to buy a product, like I said, self-identify with the brand, connect with the community, help solve their problems long-term, really be their last program that they ever need, fitness program, or that they ever need to create a lasting transformation. So that's one way is we connect with the similar audiences with influencers and stuff like that. But all the other things, like you said, you know, it allows us to really understand what our value props are, understand our copy, what it is that we're offering, understand the pain points and speak to those pain points, solve those pain points, split testing ads across all paid ads platforms. Creating our own content, obviously. I mean, having a content calendar that we feel great about, that's going to have great KPIs, key performance indicators, so open rates and click-through rates. Whenever we launch content, we know that people are going to engage with it. If you're a content creator and you have a bunch of content and you are either overwhelmed or you don't have enough, the best thing you can do is really get yourself a content calendar. And then from there, really analyzing your data on after you launch it, you know, what are those KPIs and how are they doing? And then setting yourself a benchmark. And every time you launch content, if it's not meeting those benchmarks, you know where to kind of zig and zag. But what's great is, like what I said earlier, is when you're connecting with the audience, we feel super confident that we're not wasting a month's worth of content or a week's worth of content in our content calendar, because we've connected with them so much. We know that the content we launch, it's going to be super engaging. It's going to have high open rates. It's going to create a lot of sales and things like that. So I think it comes like full spectrum as a holistic approach to growing a business or a brand.
What are some key things or tips that you have when brands are initiating with influencers? How can they find the right influencers and how can they get the best results from doing influencer marketing in your experience? Because I know you've done a lot of it and extremely successfully.
Yeah. So one of the most important things you should probably do first is combine data, numbers, and your discovery outreach program. So a lot of the stuff that we teach with Total Online Success or our courses is we give them a calculator that says, you know, it already has the formulas in there and put it in there. But just think in terms of yourself. If you don't have a calculator, you know, if a person, an influencer promotes your product. Somebody sees it as a view. They click on that link. They go to your site. They just look at your site. They buzz around. They convert or they don't convert. Like, what are those numbers? Imagine if it was just start with 10,000 or 1,000, right? 1,000 people clicked on that. 1,000 people saw that influencer promoting it. What percentage from there would click on the link? What percentage from there would go to your site? From there would convert to a lead or a sale, right? And just kind of work backwards. And then knowing how much your product costs, and knowing how much your product sells for and how much it costs to get that promotional piece of content from that influencer. And then from there, you're really like looking at, okay, as you're going in and trying to do a discovery reach with influencers, you're going, hey, can this person meet these benchmarks? You can ask them how much data they have. Hey, do you have any data in your media kit that can show me your typical conversion rates or your click-through rates or your swipe ups and stuff like that? But I mean, having numbers and data combined with your discovery outreach program is really key. And I tell this all the time to students and people I talk to that like, man, I hate data, or I don't do numbers. I just love creating content. I'm always like, suck it up. It's your business. You got to do it. Like, that's the one thing more than anything that every business owner has to do, whether you like it or not. Like, you can't outsource numbers. I mean, you can eventually to CFOs and stuff like that. But if you're not there, the last thing you want to do is at the end of the month, know that you're in the red or barely in the black because you weren't looking at your numbers every day or every week. It's something you just have to do to create a sustainable, successful business. So, mixing the numbers and the data with your outreach program. And then again, just like I said, what is knowing your audience and connecting with an influencer or affiliate marketer that has a like-minded audience, a similar audience, psychographically, demographically, and that's congruent to yours.
Back on that point about overvaluating your traffic, do you use your calculators and all that sort of stuff to kind of set more realistic expectations? Be like, well, this is, your metrics. When you back out into a dollar amount, this is actually what this placement is worth. Is that kind of how you set expectations, or do you go about a different way?
Yeah, that's 100%. We make sure that when we look at them and are understanding kind of what their initial reach is, we put as much information as we can in the calculator, then get the rest from them, then run the numbers. And when we always have them give their prices first, right? And then after that, it's really running the numbers and seeing if it really matches out from your price and your AOV and your product and what you sell and stuff like that. And a lot of honestly, I would say I'd have to ask our influencer manager the percentage of this, but I think 90% of the time we come back with a much, much lower number because we don't work with agencies. We work directly one-on-one with influencers. The influencer will go, okay. They're like, okay, because I don't think they really understand. We explain to them like, hey, listen, this is actually your numbers that would convert, and we want to build a long-term relationship. Most influencers have to keep pumping products all the time. You don't have to keep searching for products to promote to make money. Let's create a long-term relationship. Here's the realistic number. We don't want to be upside down and negative, paying for you plus the product cost of the product for you to promote. And we won't be able to do that long-term. Here's the realistic number. And sometimes if the influencer is really great, we'll actually pay them weekly. Because a lot of them, especially if we have new product launches coming up or something we really want them to get, they're promoting other brands or something else. And, getting content from influencers is tough. It's a fine dance, right? And to get them to promote for you more, sometimes we'll actually give them an upfront percentage. Like we'll say, hey, we'll pay you weekly this month and we'll give you 50% upfront. We're taking the risk. But just so they get excited about promoting it, they do it on time, they get ready for a product launch or something like that. So those are kind of the strategies that we take.
About building and scaling businesses. If for everybody who's listening right now, who maybe has a small audience, they're just getting started, maybe they've got a TikTok account, Snapchat account, Facebook or Instagram account, and they're trying to think about, okay, how do I take this to the next level? What are kind of some starting points that they can do to at least get some ideas about some products to either develop or, promote someone else's products? What are the first steps that people have to take between just using social media as, a hobby to them making it kind of like more of a business?
Yeah, that's a great question. This would absolutely go into knowing your numbers and your content first. So I would, there's a great book out there by Daryl Eves called YouTube Formula. And that applies really to all social media. I really like Daryl. He's like the king of YouTube, and he's consulted with us on a couple of things. So I always love pumping him up because he really knows what's up. But and it applies to other social media, like I said, but really understanding your data and numbers, and then creating a content calendar, like I was saying earlier. So if you upload a piece of content, you'll know right away in real time numbers, especially with YouTube, like what that thumbnail brought in with the CTR, the click-through rate, what the audience retention was, and stuff like that. So the second you're throwing up content and you're not seeing that it's matching like a really good benchmarks for those KPIs, the CTRs and the audience retention, then you go, okay, I got to change the thumbnail, or I got to start creating content like this. And then every week and every month, looking at all your content, going, what was the most engaged? What did people like the most? What had the best audience retention and stuff like that? So back to what I was saying earlier about if you don't like numbers and data, just suck it up. I mean, it will make you a lot of money if you make data your friend, and it'll help you grow, right? So that's one thing, is the second you start creating out content, know what's happening with your content as you're pushing it out. And the other thing is creating a content calendar ahead. So we always say that the calendar is the boss. So if I put it up on the calendar, we're doing it. It's the boss. So whatever's on there is the boss, everything, right? So creating yourself a calendar to make you accountable, and knowing what you have coming forward. And then as far as like what products to promote and sell, I mean, there's tons of networks out there that you can look up for you to sell products with. But I would honestly ask yourself, like, what kind of content are you creating that's going to match with a long-term relationship with a brand? The same way that we do it with content creators, that do it the same way. Like, I see so many times content creators just sit back and wait for somebody to contact them. And there's probably less than 5% or 10% of content creators that go out and find real products that they could promote themselves manually, just like the way we do with influencers. And they just wait for it to come to them, either because they have an agent and it does it that way, or because they just are not, maybe don't have that system set up and a process for them to create a sustainable, efficient, growing business. So you want, you want subscriber growth rates, and you have to go out and find that and do that. And so monetizing your content with actually going out and finding brands, it's really easy to do, to find brands that match or congruent to your products, and just messaging them. They will answer. Like, it's tough for us to get a good response rate from influencers. I guarantee you'll have 100% response rate from any brand that you reach out to that says, hey, I'm willing to promote your brand and product, contact me. They will jump up and down to, it may not work out, but the fact that you reach out to them, no influencers really do that. Like I said, 5 to 10% maybe do. And that 5 to 10% are the most successful because they did it. And the cool thing is here's another thing. This is going to save you time. If you go out and you reach out to and have in your Rolodex or your list and a spreadsheet who you're contacting, if you do that consistently for a month, I can almost guarantee you will never have to find and search for another brand for another 6 months easily, because you're looking for a specific product and they're going to respond to you. It's congruent. You're going to make money, and you're going to go, I'm overwhelmed with the opportunities here. I got to pick and choose. And then from there, you're creating content around that. And most likely it'll turn into a huge win. So you're going to do, if you do that, you're a step ahead of the competition, and you could pretty much guarantee some good commissions within the first 30 days.
Hey guys, we put a bunch of effort into making great content for this YouTube channel. So please hit subscribe, leave us a comment, hit like, and tell a few friends about it.